Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, grateful recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. Other than that, how we all doing today, guys? Happy Saturday. Beautiful day, nice sunny day. One of my craziest customers had called me yesterday morning telling me it was a job I tried to do a month ago and told her it needed to get done before it exploded in her face. Exploded in her face yesterday, and it was a big emergency, and I told her I wasn't available. I could get there today. By the end of the day, she had figured something out, and I'm not worried about that. Like, it was, she wanted to come over and put another band-aid on something that's not capable of being band-aided any further. So she called by the end of the day and said she was all set. So fantastic, right? Nice, easy day for me. I had plenty else to do, but I was able to take a slower morning. Had a nice day, guys. From there, I finished my work. I went and helped my friend Doug's dad out. He's 93, and helping with his medical stuff, which just makes me feel good. And then I went and met with my sponsor and had a great sit down, great talk about recovery, some more work on the step work, and just going over what recovery is. Not abstinence from drugs, not just staying clean, but actually living recovery. One of the nicest things he said is that he was speaking about another sponsee of his who's a friend of mine that I've just recently met, that I have the utmost respect for. This guy is a powerhouse in recovery as well. And Tim was saying how much he liked that he had two of the best sponsees. Because again, I'm an up and coming powerhouse in recovery, and I don't say that to be cocky. I say that because I'm working a program. I live my program. Recovery is the most important thing in my life, as it should be for any addict, because it is the only medicine that will keep our illness at bay. And come on, how much more important could it be? And again, I get it. It took me a long time to finally understand this, but understanding it and then living accordingly, working your program, like just living recovery is the difference, and it's what's making my life possible today, and I'm incredibly grateful for that, guys. And that's why I come out here and I promote this every day. I choose to wear a lot of recovery gear because, again, I like to be an example of what's possible. I've made a commitment to share my story publicly, and I live it and breathe it. And it's given me a life that I actually love being a part of today, and opportunities I never dreamed of. So, a treatable illness is what we have, and it's also the title of the Just for Today NA meditation. So we'll do the reading. We'll talk about it, guys. A treatable illness. Addiction is a disease that involves more than just the use of drugs. At our first meetings, we may have been taken aback at what the members shared about how the disease of addiction has affected their lives. Well, we thought to ourselves, disease? I've just got a drug problem. What in the world are they talking about? And been there, done that. After some time in the program, we begin to see that our addiction ran deeper than the obsessive compulsive drug use. We saw that we suffered from a chronic illness that affected many areas of our lives. We didn't know where we caught this disease, but in examining ourselves, we realized that it had been present in us for many years. Just as the disease of addiction affects every area of our lives, well, so does recovery. We attend our first meeting with all the symptoms present: the spiritual void, the powerlessness, the unmanageability. Treating our illness involves much more than abstinence. We use the 12 steps. And though they don't cure our illness, they do begin to heal us. And as we recover, we discover the gift of life. And the affirmation is just for today: I will treat my illness with the 12 steps. Guys, simple and to the point, but profoundly powerful. Yes, and again, I think I talked about this yesterday. When I first got into recovery, the pinnacle of my aspirations were just to get through the day without taking drugs, without having to use drugs to get through a day. And again, that's a gift in and of itself, and it absolutely is. Make no mistake about it. That is, freedom from addiction, right? Not having to use drugs, being able to get through a day, and again, huge. But fortunately, I understood immediately thereon, because again, that was back when I was still addicted to drugs, and it was such a monstrous problem that I couldn't see anything beyond that. I'm so incredibly grateful, and it was one of the big things my sponsor and I were talking about today was what made it different for me this time, and willingness, accountability. But again, these things all came after the fact that my rock bottom this time was the fact that I could not go on living the way that I was. It was internal. That made me understand that I needed to do a lot of internal work, and that's the one thing I'd never done. For me, in the past, all my failed attempts at recovery were fixing external things. I had to get away from this. I needed this. No, I needed to fix me. I needed to first of all find out who I was, and then find out why I was living a life that required constant medication. And again, a lot of work involved, but simple, right? Like I didn't know who I was at this point. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't know what it was like to live like an adult, and those things were terrifying to me because I thought they were going to require things I wasn't capable of, or, just it was overwhelming like it is for so many. As I've worked my program, the biggest thing I've been able to do is understand that it's a me problem, not a drug problem. I needed to find out who I really was, what mattered to me, and then start living according to those moral codes, those ideals. I had to start actually obeying laws so that I could start to function in society. And I've done that, right? And again, there's many, many layers. I'm not trying to oversimplify it. But in the beginning, guys, simplify it. Pick the biggest, most pressing issues and go after them one at a time. But follow your program. Do it. Make it about doing the work for yourself. And that's the difference for me today. In the past, it was always about getting some sort of stability, because when you're homeless for a long time, yeah, you want a roof over your head. Makes perfect sense. But for me, in the past, okay, well, then I got to run out and get a job. And as soon as I get a job, I wasn't building a recovery network that I was a part of. So it all fell to the wayside. Suddenly, work was more important than meetings and this, that, and the other. And then next thing you know, the slightest thing, or in honest, most of the times, it was just a matter of somebody offering me drugs. Boom, take me right back out. Never mind, or a program would wrap up and I'd run out to date a girl and move in with her after 3 seconds. And literally last 3 or 4 days and be like, okay, well, now I'm going to go to a hotel with the $500 I've saved. And 2 days later, when that runs out, what do, right? I didn't have recovery. This time, I shut everything out, guys. I walked away from a good paying job. I walked away from every person I knew. I let go of all my obligations. And again, I not only physically did so, but I also spoke honestly about it. When people would say things, oh, what are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing recovery. I'm doing whatever appointments I have today. I'm not focusing anything beyond that, because I knew when I did, I would screw things up. And I'm not saying I live that way today, but in the beginning, that was the commitment I needed to make to recovery in order to get over this chronic illness that I'd not been able to make any headway against for so long. And I've done so. And guys, yeah, I'm on the fast track. But again, because I live recovery, I'm on the fast track because I do these readings every day and I see how they apply. And then I go and I do an inventory, and I start my day in prayer and I end it in prayer, and I meditate every day. I didn't pick and choose and say I'll do this and not this. If you heard my videos from day one, I walked you guys through this every single day. I took hold of every single thing I could that was recovery related. I tried every class, I did every group, I did every appointment. I still made it to every appointment. I still make it to every appointment. When I make a commitment for recovery, I put that first, because I understand today, if I don't, for any of a number of factors, guys, whether it's my built-in forgetter that suddenly I start forgetting how miserable I was out there, or whether I start thinking other things are important, or whether I start thinking, oh, I've got a business now, I've got money in the bank, I must be the man, I never had a drug, I never had a me problem, I just had to stay away from drugs, and then I walk away from recovery, and it all falls like a house of cards. Recovery is a lifestyle, and when you embrace that lifestyle and you put all you can into it, it will give you so much more than you've ever dreamed. The most important being my ability to look at myself in the mirror and love who I see. That was something I didn't think I'd ever. I was hoping to figure out who I was. I didn't think I'd ever be able to look at myself and love who I am. And I do today, guys. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, because I'm absolutely not. But I'm me. I'm the unique soul God created for me to be. Or at least I'm well on my way to finding Him. I love what I found so far. Again, things are better than I ever dreamed they would be. But that's not my destination, because now I understand every day that I put more into it, I get more out of it. My aspirations have grown exponentially. Like, instead of just trying to say, well, I want to get to this level, no, I take the cap off it and said, I want to get to the level that God wants me to get to. I want to make as big an impact in the recovery world as I can. I want to grow my empire as big as I can to show what's possible, because I was at the lowest depths just along with anybody else. I was living homeless for years. I was in and out of prison for years. But when I followed this simple program, doesn't exclude me from the things I have to do. Like, I found out my hearing on Thursday. There are all sorts of steps I got to take, things I got to prove, classes I got to complete to get back to full freedom, and that's okay, right? So I'm not excluded. Recovery doesn't exclude me from the responsibilities to making up for the wreckage of my past, but it's proven to me that it's possible. And because I've done things as they come up and not on my own time frame, in the past, guys, I would have got a little recovery and said, oh, that's the first hurdle I need to get over, because that's my freedom behind it. I can go do anything I want when I do this. And I would have focused on that, and all the stuff that came up Thursday, I wouldn't be capable of. The biggest thing being that, I have to pay a $12,000 reinstatement fee. I didn't have that 14 months ago, but I didn't worry about that. 14 months ago, I said, let me focus on recovery. Listen, take action, learn the right way to live, and just deal with whatever comes up as it comes up, not on my time frame. And because I've done that, every time something comes up, miraculously I'm fully capable of dealing with it, because that's God's way. When you do the right thing with your higher power, you don't have to call it God. I call mine God because it's easy for me and just what I know. When you find alignment with your higher power, when you work your program to the best of your ability, you will check off the things you need to check off as they come up in your life. Obviously, with importance, if you got a roof over your head and you're in a program, then finding an apartment's not your priority, right? Your programs are they go in stages. You phase up or whatever as they've got experience. They know what you need, and if you do them and follow them properly, you will get not only the resources that you need under your belt, you'll get the experience and the knowledge you need to hold the resource as they come. Following the program as it's laid out has allowed me to fast track myself, because I give everything I have to the program. As it turns out, I'm pretty capable. I'm pretty intelligent. I've got a lot of marketable skills. But again, I couldn't have done that day one. It would have flopped in my face like it did every other time. Instead, I didn't go out there boastful and look at me, wow, this, that, the other. No, I showed up quietly every day and just did the work. And when the craziest thing happened, people took notice, because I wasn't out there billboard screaming. I was just showing up day in, day out. And when I had the natural interactions that were laid out the way the program and God wanted me to, I was able to be my best self, capable, confident, and just ready to do the work. Boom. And then lo and behold, one foot in front of the other, I've just walked through this. And yes, I still get up every day in prayer. And then one of the first things when I'm done saying my prayers, the first thing I do is thank God for my sobriety. I ask Him to allow me to remain focused on it, because again, that is the most important thing in my life. If I maintain that, then everything else is possible. I waited till I found the right sponsor instead of just trying to get a sponsor so I could say I had one. No, I bided my time, even so much so that I was starting to question myself. Well, am I just afraid to do the work? No, I'm looking forward to it, but I want to do it right, and I want to do it with the person I know is going to be right. And just like everything else in this recovery for me, when the right situation came up, and again, it was right after I started talking about it publicly because God was putting in my mind, boom, as the student's ready, the teacher will appear. The person I respect the most since I come to this area for 10 years pops right back up into my life, and he accepts me as a sponsee because he sees the program that I'm working and knows I have a lot of things to bring to recovery. Beautiful, right? Guys, when you do these things right, every situation will feel miraculous. You'll feel fully capable. You'll feel fully confident. You'll know you have every right to be and hold every position you find or every resource that comes to you. And then you'll get the confidence to start living your dreams. But doesn't nobody's going to give them to you. I can't call up somebody tomorrow and say, hey, I want to own a 3-family house. Can I have one? No, I got to do the work. I got to save my money. I got to learn about mortgages. Okay, well, I've started learning about mortgages. So I need a paper trail. I need a history. I've been working on my credit record. I'm working on all the different things. I'm not going to start listing them all off and do the work if it's something you're interested in, right? I'm not here to do it for you. But I'm doing my work. And because I have what was a 5-year goal will more than likely be in place this year. But again, that's a bit if God wants it to be. I'm not out there hunting that down. I'm just doing my work every day, putting recovery first, being aligned with my higher power, living from a place of gratitude, right? These are the things I do. All I've got to do is maintain my side of the street, which means work on myself, make sure I'm in the best energy. I'm maintaining my physical body. I'm maintaining my health. I'm putting my recovery first. I'm honoring my commitments because I get offered a lot of work. So if I'm honoring that, I'm making money. I'm saving my money. I'm acting responsibly. And the next opportunities are falling right at my feet. And the other thing is, I've learned that I tend to jump at the first. So I can't do that. I got to do my due diligence and make sure things make sense before I go pulling the trigger and get myself in over my head and throw away everything I built. So suddenly I'm not in any rush to do anything. Because again, it's like I've seen when I treat my illness with recovery the way I'm supposed to, everything else just kind of falls in place. It requires a lot of action, a lot of introspection, a lot of leaps of faith, a lot of believing in myself, but I get that way by just doing the right thing every day without saying I can only do this if I need this. These are statements that set you up for failure. Instead, I just show up and say, I don't know everything. I'll see what I have in my hand to work with today. I will do that to the best of my ability. At the end of the day, I will take my inventory to see what I gained today, what I got to do tomorrow, what did I not like today that I want to redo and try to do better tomorrow. And little by little, guys, these things have compounded in the most amazing, profound ways. It's brought me to a life I never believed I'd be a part of. It's unbelievable. It really is. I can tell you about mine all day long. When you start living yours, you'll be out here making the same testimony, shocking others and encouraging others to get in. The best way to help a newcomer is to fix you first and be available and speak openly and honestly. I'm not there to get people jobs. I'm not there to buy people things. I'm there to share my experience, strength, and hope to encourage them that they can too, to show them the way I did it. And if it applies, they'll work theirs the same way. And those that do are going to succeed. And those that want to just, have me do it for them are going to be unfortunately upset because, again, another thing I've learned in recovery, I can't save everybody. I'm not here to do so. I've got to put my boundaries up and do what works for me first. And I help as many as I can with the overflow, and that's recovery, guys. I'm not saying this over any specific situations. I'm just saying this is everything that comes up. This is a multi-layered disease, and it's a multi-layered treatment, recovery. And when you practice these principles in all of your affairs, you'll see this. And it's just going to make you a better person, the person you were meant to be all along. It certainly has for me. Again, I'm not by no means there yet, but that gives me so much more hope because as good as things have gotten, as much self-confidence and the sense of self-worth that I've built so far is nothing compared to what it's going to be 1 year from now. I called it in my earliest videos. I call it now. It's not a destination. It's a lifestyle. So the longer I live it and do so to the best of my ability, the bigger it's going to get. Simple as that. Guys, that's the video for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.